on stories that reflect the diversified culture of our people, food, places, and music from the 1st to the 31st of March. Watch out for the Heritage Caravan Diaries and moments as we embark on a journey full of fun, education, information, wonderful memories, and great bonding moments with the Heritage Caravan from the 4th to the 11th of March. To crown the Heritage Month celebration, we will treat ourselves to delectable, authentic Ghanaian cuisine from the northern, middle, and southern zones of the country that reflect our true cultural diversity with a back to your village food bazaar from the 25th to the 26th of March, 2023. Remember to make it Ghana in this season of the Heritage Month and beyond. The Heritage Month on City is powered by City TV in partnership with the Ghana Investment Promotion and Ghana Tourism Authority with support from City FM, and it is sponsored by the National Lotteries Authority.
Welcome to The Point of View. This is your favorite current affairs show on television. Here on The Point of View, we pick the right topics, we get the right guests, and ask them the relevant questions on the issues that matter. This is a Heritage Month special, of course. We are in our month of March, and we're so glad you joined us for the series. Tonight, we're zeroing in on the Electoral Commission's intention to come up with a new constitutional instrument to guide the 2024 elections. It's generated a lot of controversy. Chairman of the EC, chairperson of the EC was invited to Parliament to meet the Committee of the Whole to explain the components of this CI. Tonight on the show, I'll be speaking to three persons. I have in studio the lawyer who will be talking to us on his views on the CI. We have the Executive Secretary of the NIA also joining us in studio to explain their readiness to be the sole identification for the voters register. Of course, we'll speak to the New Patriotic Party as well. It's all live here on City TV. Stay with us. Welcome back. So tonight I will take you first to Parliament to hear the chairperson, Mrs. Jean Mensah, parts of her address and answers in Parliament yesterday to set the scene for our discussion in studio.
For the first time in our history, we are mainstreaming the continuous registration of voters as part of our regular activities. As such, our officers in the field will be fully engaged all year round. Mr. Speaker, another significant feature of this draft constitutional instrument is the proposal to adopt the Ghana card as the sole source of identification for any person who wishes to register as a voter. This implies that the Guarantor system, which hitherto allowed a registered voter to vouch for the citizenship and age of prospective applicants, will no longer be relied upon as part of our registration exercise. The reason is that Guarantor, unfortunately, we were unable to discard it much earlier due to the absence of a national identification card such as the one issued by the NIA. The challenges with the Guarantor system are twofold. First of all, it opens the door for registered voters or Guarantor contractors to guarantee and vouch for persons who are less than 18 years old. Secondly, it allows these Guarantors to vouch for persons who are not citizens of Ghana. such unqualified persons, usually minors and foreigners, use the door of the Guarantor system to try to get onto our register.
Welcome back. So that was the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Madam Jean Mensah. So a number of reasons have been given. Obviously, the most controversial part of all of that was the claim or the view that, or the information, not claim, that the Ghana card will be the sole form of identification. The registration that will be done year-round, instead of having to have these long queues and limited registration exercises. That appears to be quite a good innovation as well. Then also the issue of the Guarantor system that they want to do away with. Some people find that controversial as well. Then there's a whole question about the NIA's readiness to deliver, because apparently there are some 3.5 million cards unissued or issued but not collected. We'll try and clarify those points. Is the NIA itself ready? Can they deliver? It seems as if the EC is going to hinge its registration on another agency. Well, we are lucky to have the man in charge of the agency in studio. One of the leading lawyers of the NDC, who was quite, I don't know what the word to use. You didn't seem very excited, Roxanne Dafian.
Welcome to the show. You didn't seem very excited, and you were a bit animated in the questions. I don't know whether I'm right to describe it that way.
You know, you are not right. I was a bit assertive in respect of the questions that I posed. In any case, good evening to you and Prof. And to our viewers, wonderful, especially my people in South Dine.
Okay.
Do
they have their Ghana card?
Some do.
Some do.
I've been troubling him to assist us to get more onto the register.
Okay.
So, and of course to my branch executives.
Wonderful.
Bernard.
Yeah.
The position amplified by the minority in respect of this CI. It's not about a numbers game. But it appears that the discussion is being reduced to a numbers game. That is not about it. It's about the rationale for introducing the instruments and its provisions in the manner that it is being done. Let me refer to Article 106 of the Constitution. Article 106(7) of the Constitution has this to say. It says that 106(1), it says the power of Parliament to make laws shall be exercised by bills passed by Parliament and assented to by the President. Okay. 106(2) says no bill other than such a bill as referred to in paragraph A of Article 108 of this Constitution shall be introduced to Parliament unless it is accompanied by an explanatory memorandum. All right? Setting out in detail the policy and principles of the bill, the defects of the existing law, the remedies proposed to deal with those defects, and the necessity for its introduction. And then it says further that it has to be published in the Gazette. When you go to Article 45 of the Constitution, 45E, as part of the functions of the Electoral Commission, the Constitution mandates it to undertake programs for the expansion of the registration of voters. I am underpinning my submission with these constitutional provisions so we understand the fundamental issues that we have. In Article 51 of the Constitution, the Electoral Commission is empowered to come with constitutional instruments, which is the one in question, to make regulations for the effective performance of its functions under this constitution or any other law, and in particular, for the registration of voters, the conduct of public elections and referenda, including provision for voting by proxy.
Okay.
All right? Now, if you go to Article 11.7 of the Constitution, it says, any order or rule or regulation made by a person or authority under a power conferred by the Constitution or any other law shall be laid before Parliament, published in the Gazette and all that, and shall be passed after 21 sitting days. So the Constitution itself says that the rationale must set out the lacuna or the mischief in the existing law. And tell us why you think that the new law will cure the existing mischief or the problems that the existing law is creating.
Is this not why you invited the chairperson
Of the EC, and are those not the reasons you came to give in the voice I just played?
Play the voice and find out whether her explanations gives good reasons to introducing, for instance, at Regulation 1 of the proposed legislation instrument, that when the existing law says that if you want to register an eligible voter, prospective voter, look for his passport to identify him. If he does not possess one, look for his Ghana card. For him. 2, not 1. Now you want to make a new law to say that you want to rely only on a Ghana card. That is not in consonance with Article 45 Clause E of the constitutional provision. You are not coming out with programs to expand access to registration of voters. By this instrument, you are constricting access to registration. You are limiting it. You are not expanding. 2, in the proposed instrument, the Electoral Commission, for instance, says that when in the existing legislation, your district office, in addition to the existing gazetted polling stations, the 38,000 polling stations in this country, are to be designated registration centers, you want to take away that power from Parliament and make it one of discretion, so that you are telling Parliament to make only your district office a designated registered center or registration center, so that when in your wisdom you decide where you deem fit as a registration center. When the same law says
For voters.
for prospective voters, people you want to register. This is about registration. This is not about voting. We haven't gotten there yet.
I'm coming,
So that when you come to my constituency in South Nine, somebody who lives in Najebu, who is 45 kilometers from Kweve, must travel that distance, 90 kilometers in and out, in order to get registered. When the existing law says that, in addition to Kweve and the polling station at Kpungbuni Kofe, which is 3 kilometers away from this person, should be a registration center.
Does the fact that the registration will be rolling not cure that? Because you did mention that in the past they used to do these registrations in like limited periods. But now they're basically saying every day till...
That is my next point. That's my next point.
So it doesn't cure what you've said?
No, at all. In fact, the problem it will create is that the Electoral Commission can say that your corridor, your veranda, is a registration center. And there's nothing me and my political party or other political parties can do.
Why can't they say that?
Because that is what the law says. The law says that they can designate any other place they consider fit.
So why? Okay, let me understand the CI.
Yes.
If the law says, is the purpose of the CI not to get maybe I don't know what CI works. Not to get the
No,
committee
CI
of
is
the
simply
whole.
a regulation.
I'm coming.
Yes.
Can the committee of the whole not make amendments to contents
No,
of the
no,
CI?
no, no, no. By
It has
Supreme
to be
Court
accepted
decision.
in full.
Yes.
So
you either reject
the
it
whole
in
thing,
total, or you accept
So if there's any
both.
aspect of it you don't agree with, it has to go. The whole thing has to go. Fair enough.
Then number 3.
That's number 4 now. You've made
Okay,
clear already.
number 4. The EC claims to Parliament that it needs this CI, the new one, in order to conduct a continuous registration.
Yes.
In fact, they have changed the nomenclature and termed it a limited registration exercise. When the law actually uses the phrase continuous registration says, or means that after the 2020, after December 2020 general elections, keep your doors open so that any person who turned 18 after the midnight of 7th December 2020 could walk to your offices and get registered.
Okay.
As an administrative entity, you haven't done that. It is not the law that has limited you. You, in your administrative judgment of error, refuse to conduct this registration. The law has made provision for you to do so. Right. You haven't taken advantage. Bernard, the other point we are talking about is the guarantor system.
So that's point 5 now.
Yes. In 2017, the NIA itself came to Parliament to amend the existing law, which is Act 750 with Act 950, in conformity with Supreme Court decisions and other reforms, to, as it were, as part of his registration, agree on a guarantor system. And it's here. This is the law. This is the amendment. This is the amended law.
Yeah.
Now, what the EC did was that EC originally, under CI 91, was using the guarantor system, but was permitting a person to guarantee for only 5.
All right.
What the EC did was that they quickly copied what the NIA did by rushing back to Parliament under CI 126 to actually beef up the number of persons who could guarantee from 1 to 2. This is their form. So if you see the EC guarantor form, you have 2 persons who guarantee and swear.
Okay.
2. Not 1, 2. So for every applicant, you have 2 persons validly registered to guarantee for you.
No problem.
How is such a system not robust? Finally, the EC bastardizes the guarantor system with some statistics. She said, at page 4, paragraph 3 of a submission to Parliament yesterday, she had this to say. It is important to note that to read the register of minors and foreigners in 2020, the Electoral Commission established the District Registration Review Committee, which worked for several days and weeks from the register.
Okay.
We were able to successfully expunge over 40,000 minors and foreigners from the register during the registration exercise. This was said yesterday to Parliament.
She said it yesterday.
Bernard, in a 7th December letter to Parliament, 7th December 2022, addressed to the chairman of the Subsidiary Legislation Committee, copied to the minority leader and the majority leader, the AC, by its own data, had this to say. If we take all the 17,029,981 persons on its register, the AC provides the following data. Number of applicants that is below 18 years. 3,617.
Yeah.
Bernard, are you listening to me?
I'm following you closely.
3,617 as persons who were registered into a register containing in excess of 17 million persons who were challenged on grounds of age. She further provided that for persons who entered onto the register on grounds
So you don't think that the numbers are that significant?
Hold on. This is what is interesting. So if you add the minors that the EC herself brought to Parliament in December, plus the supposed foreigners not successfully expunged but merely challenged, it is less than 10,000. So where did the EC woman get the 40,000 minors and foreigners expunged from the register, as she stated to Parliament yesterday? Both documents are before Parliament.
All right, fair enough. I just wanted to listen to your arguments. You've spent about 15 minutes sort of going through all of this. Yeah. A couple of things I remember she said. She says that, she said from the voters register. The thing that caught my attention was where she said that the NIA Guarantor system was more robust than theirs. I thought that was a big headline, and I feel some of the media houses captured it. Let me ask the NIA person, and the other thing I noticed that in the 7 points you make, a lot of your concerns are constitutional issues, the mandate of the EC, claims they make that you feel they can't justify. You are basically saying, if it ain't broke, why do you want to fix it?
Exactly.
So you haven't really impugned the integrity of the NIA yet. So what? No, and I'm not saying, I'm not inviting you to do that.
Yes, that's
yes, I know. But what I want to do for my listeners is to bring the NIA in on a very controversial point the EC chairperson makes. Let me just read the story. The EC has continued justifying the new constitutional instrument proposed to Parliament. EC chairperson Jim Mensah explained the rationale that informed a conclusion to use the Ghana card as the only verification document in acquiring a voter certification card. She admitted that the system employed by the NIA in securing a Ghana card is vibrant, for which reason her office decided to fall on their product. Jim Mensah made these comments after finally appearing before the House following a summon. And then I think the NIA system is more robust because they have persons who come through swearing an oath. We don't, she told Parliament. And then she goes on with some other details. Now, the other point I wanted to make was that the NIA idea was to sort of reduce the replications in the system. So you have DVLA, you have SNIT, and all these agencies uptaking the NIA card because it appears to have more capacity and it sort of solves all the dual identity problems. You follow my point? So it shouldn't be surprising for the EC to join that bandwagon. SNIT already has decided that they will use the NIA card to replace their SNIT card. I'm sure you are aware of this. So it seems as if it's part of a long policy to use this card, which they believe has a more robust verification system, to replace all other cards eventually. So it's not being done in isolation. I don't know if you understand my point.
Can I make this point before?
Yes, I'm asking you. I'll come to Prof. Yes.
Two things.
Yeah.
You still appear to be relying on the point made by the EC that the guarantor system of the NIA is more robust than theirs, when the evidence is that both systems are similar. In fact, the law that Parliament enacted gave you similar systems. Josiah taught me not to say the same. They say saying they are the same. We have enacted, look, 2 guarantors for both systems. They all swear oath. How do you say that
they swear the same oath?
It's the same oath. This is the oath.
This is the same oath.
I solemnly swear or affirm that I know that Mr. Bernard Avle is qualified to register as a voter at the above named registration center. That is the oath of the first guarantor. The second guarantor, I solemnly swear or affirm that I know that Mr. Bernard, because you need 2 of them.
No, this is the oath for the EC.
Yes.
Is it the same as the oath for the NIA?
It is.
Is it the same oath?
How could it be?
It is.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm bringing you at a middle point, but I just wanted to
get.
I'm sorry.
What is the oath? I'm trying to clarify the oath point.
Sorry, I'm sorry about the manner in which I'm brought in and the manner.
I just want to clarify the oath issue.
Yes, I appreciate that. But
can I
answer? I just want to do the oath issue first.
No, I want to answer you.
You have to answer the question he's supposed to.
Yes. If you read the amendment law, Act 950.
Yes.
If you read Section 8, which amended the Parent Act, it said, the authority shall require an individual who applies for an entry to be made in the register to produce any of the following. They give birth certificate where applicable, voter's ID, driver's license, a passport, baptismal certificate.
I'm interested in the oath.
Hold on. Then it says, without any other information prescribed under this act, where an applicant is unable to produce any of the documents, the authority shall require a relative of that applicant to identify the applicant under oath.
And I'm saying, what's the oath?
What is
And
the
that's
oath?
what they say the same thing.
This was the same thing.
Okay.
He should produce the guarantor form for the NIA.
Which will then you compare with this one.
Right.
Let me bring Prof in. So I was sort of trying to build a point that it seems to me as if what the EC is trying to do is part of a broader thing, which I think SNIT has tried to do and Apple are doing. So is that how we should perceive this? And again, in the discussion, it's almost like what the EC can achieve depends on what you can do. And because you owe people, and there are over 3.5 million cards in the system that you haven't given to people, it's like, why should you depend on a system that has this number of problems to deliver a controversial election? All right, so I wanted to just touch on how the NIA comes in. Are you being railroaded into this by the EC, or is this something you are happy to do and able to do?
So, thank you very much, Bernard, and good evening. I greet all your listeners and viewers well. Good evening, my brother. Let me start from the beginning. This 3.5 million Ghanaians that you just mentioned, it's not true. I don't know where it comes from. I suspect I know where it comes from, but I'm not sure. Yesterday in Parliament, Dr. Dominic Ayene, I believe it was he, who made a statement asking me a question about 3.5 million Ghanaians not having their cards, who are eligible to have it by now, who are not having it, and attributing that figure to me. Now, I think it is bad arithmetic that has resulted in that conclusion. And I said this before sincerity. There is nothing like that.
Really, because the finance minister even made a reference to 3.5 million cards are released.
3.5 million blank cards in a bonded warehouse. Cards that we have imported as NIA.
So not cards belonging to people.
Persons. These
I think
are
that's
blank,
the confusion.
blank. No, there shouldn't be confusion at all. I'll tell you why there shouldn't. This is deliberate, but it is an arithmetic error.
Okay.
But how the arithmetic error arises is part of the problem.
All right.
What it is that they have added wrongly the number of printed but not collected cards.
642,400.
641. And then my declaration.
So that's about 1.1 million.
Exactly. That is, if you take the population of 31 million Ghanaians, we have already registered 17.375,861 Ghanaians. Now, those age 15 and above, 2,565,705 are yet to be registered. What the NDC has done is to add this number of persons. Yes. Well, what Dr. Dominic Ayene did by asking me the question yesterday, my conjecture, my supposition, my assumption is that the good doctor lawyer wrongly added this number to the number of cards yet to be printed.
So he introduced the 3.5 million
and
number.
the number of cards not collected yet, and then arrived at this figure.
Fair enough.
It cannot issue from me. That's number one. Number two, my brother says it is not about a numbers game. But that's exactly where you started the conversation when I came in. You mentioned it, and that's where you ended. And the reason that is NIA is in the middle of this also is because of the numbers game. I think it is exaggerated. I think there is a real problem. you look for 2 persons, not 1. Under the NIA system, that's not the case. I am surprised. He's reading laws. I am not here to discuss constitutional issues. This is not what I'm a lawyer too, but it's not what I came here to do tonight. Much of the conversation has focused on constitutional matters and the EC and all of that. At the appropriate time, if I'm primed to participate in a discussion of that nature, I'm ready to. But I'm here to speak about NIA's preparedness to deal with the problem that is being overly magnified. And I am here to set the record straight.
But you do admit that
yes,
the NIA has been thrown into a legal conversation. Because if the basis for what the EC wants to do is illegal or legally flawed, it will then mean that your good efforts notwithstanding, all that effort may necessarily yield anything. So my point is that there's a legal. So you are not enjoying to address a legal issue.
No,
but the legality of the matter is as germane, even for our discussion tonight.
It is important for our discussion tonight. My purpose, NIA's purpose, is to answer the question, which is what we're called to Parliament.
Are you ready to deliver?
Are we ready?
Fair
and
enough.
That's what I want the conversation to focus on, not what he wants
to be fair, that's what Parliament even asked you.
Exactly.
So I brought you here to address the question of preparedness.
Exactly.
On the issue of the legalities and otherwise, the EC can speak for themselves.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to ask you to necessarily respond to him.
Thank you.
Be that as it may, if you feel there's a legal point you want to make,
the provisions I've read is Prof saying.
No, we are saying that he's saying that he's not here to speak for the EC on the legal issues.
But he's the #1 PRO of the institution.
Of which
speaking to authority, policy, and all.
Yeah, because
of
the
NIA. #1 spokesperson.
Of NIA. Yes.
Let's get the ground rule straight. There are legal issues with what EC wants to do because they're legal issue. But there are also practical operational issues imposed by the constraints on the NIA.
Yes, that one, I haven't been touched yet.
Yes, and
I have only said...
Don't misunderstand me. What I'm saying is that we can walk and chew gum.
No.
We can deal with legal issues.
Exactly.
We can deal with operational issues. We can deal with partisan issues.
But he doubted one matter that I mentioned.
Yes.
That under both systems, you swear an oath.
No, I'm not saying that you don't swear an oath.
Okay.
You said that.
Yes.
That there are 3 things you said.
Yes.
That I contest. I contest.
Yes.
But they are not too important right now because that's not what. But I can tell you what they are.
Which is why you should allow me to just direct you. Because if you want to respond to everything he says, we won't finish.
It's only 3 of them that he said, and I was leaving them because at the material time, you will know when people go to register for NIA Ghana card. The first thing is not what he's talking about. If they are to be guaranteed for, it is one person. If it is a relative, it's one person who must have the Ghana card. When Jean Mensah talks about our system being more robust, she identified the elements, and we need to capture that. Now, our law.
But Prof, that is what I
please. No, that's not what you mentioned. You said. Oh, can I just? I don't want a debate. I want to make a presentation.
Okay.
And if I make a presentation and you
I can
disagree,
rebut.
then you can do that.
What I'm saying is that
just as I'm doing.
Address the point about the guarantor because
that's what I want to
so
do.
Roxanne, just allow. Yes, go ahead.
He said you look for 2 persons to guarantee for him, not 1. And I'm saying that under our system, the first point of call is 1 person. When you come and you do not have either a birth certificate or a valid passport, you get a relative who has registered and has the Ghana card to vouch for you. If you do not have a relative, then 2 persons qualified by law, right? Qualified by law, prescribed in the law to vouch for you. Those 2 persons must also possess the Ghana card, not just registered. They must have the Ghana card. Now, that is one of the reasons the lady says it is a more robust system. Because when you have the Ghana card, the presumption, at least in law, is that you have gone through an interrogation or a questioning or a registration process that has established the facticity of your claim as a Ghanaian, that you've been vouched for or proven to be a Ghanaian and given a card. When you are so registered, the card and the registration details of the person who vouched for you are permanently attached to you that they vouch for. So if in future it becomes evident that they lied when they were vouching for you, or that you provided material facts that were wrong or incorrect, that you can be tracked and traced. That is the rigor. The third important element of the rigor that she's talking about is the idea that in the NIA system, you vouch before a commissioner for oaths, commissioned by the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana and assigned to an NIA registration center or office. In the EC system, there is no such thing as vouching before a commissioner for oaths. And my lawyer colleague here is fully aware of the implications of swearing an oath before a commissioner for oaths versus swearing an oath before a staff of the Electoral Commission or a staff of NIA or of City TV. That is a point of law. That is a point he appreciates. That's a point the lady made yesterday, that it is more robust, meaning it is more rigorous, and the penalties that are attached to it are serious. That is a fundamental difference, and therefore it is not true, or it is not correct, to put it mildly, it is not correct that they swear the same oath. Finally, on the question of swearing the same oath, the oath he just read is alien to the NIA. Clearly the same, and he was right.
This is the EC oath he read.
Exactly. The EC oath he read, and he's right when he says that the late Josiah Ayer taught him not to say the same.
Two things are the same.
No two things are the same. But the EC law and the EC oath and the NIA oath are completely different, having been erected for entirely different purposes. The EC is able to look at that this is a more rigorous process, and because it has resulted in the production of cards which are already biometric, smart, dual interface and all of that, and has captured all 10 fingers, your iris and your apis and your ears and all of these wonderful elements, plus the kind of biographic or alphanumeric information it takes from you, we can rely on this document as a base document. Now, you have 17.3 million of these people who are Ghanaians captured onto the register. Of the 17.3 million, 16.9 of them are 18 years and above already. The Electoral Commission's register contains 17,029,000 people. If you have 17,029,000 people, and 16 million of them are already aged 18 and above, then the margin that is left is small, relatively speaking. That's less than 2 million. It is 1-point-something million at best.
Then you possibly would add the 15 years who will now have
exactly
18.
And because
to that difference.
Thank you. And so if you do that arithmetic, it will take you to a maximum of 2.5 million. And I am saying,
which you believe you can do.
In 3 months, we can actually do that.
When you do this on a daily basis? Or if you do the system that there's EC, I'm just asking.
Yes, I appreciate you.
You can do the 2 million in 6 months?
Easily, just operating normally. You see, in last year, when we were not doing any mass registration, we were not doing anything special, just being there, operating normal, we registered over 1.5 million. So if we put our minds to this task, knowing what rights on it, what's at stake, knowing the concerns that some Ghanaians have, and wanting to serve, this is something we can easily design a model to address within.
Let that thought rest. I'll take a short break and I'll come back. There's lots of questions. The good news is that I have a bit more time because we started pretty late. So please relax. We'll have time to speak. We want to understand the issues. This is the point of view. Tonight, we are trying to understand the CI the EC has put forth to Parliament. We have Roxanne Dafiamoko, MP for South Dai. We have the Executive Secretary of the NIA, Professor Ken Ajimanatepa. We're also joined by
Mr. Nyamakun of the MPP for his own views on this. Stay with us.
Tell me what makes it choco hot.
Mixy choco, Johnny hot. Coco womo, Johnny hot.
I can't this way.
This is no.
What?
Manji school for Nisiko. They are the future generation. And now 5 guys say Omunyina Jomo Wallet and Jew BSK. But Johnny Kukra.
What? I don't know how. Come on, you're trying to cool. You're trying to hot. It's a mixy choco and a coffee. Tell me what's back why.
Some things are best taken hot, like delicious creamy mixy.
Grammy and the miniscow.
Master, with all due respect, and now Kokani.
Hey, son.
Mixy Choco now in a new pack with a great new taste. Mixy Choco, mixing coffee, Channel Hot. This advert is FDA approved.
Agile, we give you extra so you can go further.
Creating your own business takes time, passion, and hard work. It takes commitment and perseverance in the face of challenges. As an entrepreneur, I look for value. How to get more for less. That is what Vodafone Too Much Business gives. Too much data, minutes for calls, SMS bundles, and my favorite part is too much flexibility to customize your mobile plan.
Get more value for your business. Sign on to Vodafone Too Much Business, a cost-efficient mobile offer that allows you to choose and customize how much data, voice or SMS allocations your business needs. Send start to 050-777-9000 or email vodafonebusiness.gh@vodafone.com.
Whatever your business needs are, Vodafone Too Much Business has a solution for you.
Get 2 months of Showmax for the price of 1. It's giving double energy. It's giving celebration Ankasa. All that scandal. It's giving the perfect storm. Shishi. More epic thrills and detective vibes. You go feel sa. It's giving what it's supposed to be giving and overdose. So subscribe now to get 2 months for only 16 Ghana cedis 99 pesos for a limited time. It's giving Showmax.
Pepsodent introduces charcoal and lemon essence. The unique combination of natural essences whitens teeth naturally for you and family because every smile matters. New Pepsodent Herbal. Introducing a unique combination of herbal extracts in an antibacterial toothpaste for strong teeth and healthy gums that protects your family and you. Every smile matters.
Welcome back to the point of view. Tonight we're trying to understand the CI that the EC has put forth and also gauge the readiness of the NIA to deliver
The Ghana cards that if for registering a voter. Guest Roxy Nelson Dafemepo, MP for South Dai, is one of the leading legal minds in the NDC in Parliament. Professor Ken Ajimanatefa is the Executive Secretary of the NIA. He says they are poised to deliver. He says the 2 million, they can deliver it in 6 months. Let's talk to Evans Makun. He is the Director of Research and Elections at the NPP. Evans, thanks for joining us. People say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This is the register that brought your party to power in, at least retain you power in 2020. So what is the MPP's understanding of the problem that the EC is trying to cure with this CI and some of its new requirements, Mr. Nimaku?
Well, Bernard, good evening. Thank you for having me. Let me greet Professor Tifa and Honorable Daphne Mako. I think that the issue, shouldn't take us this far in terms of disagreeing on EC proceeding to have a new CI that will ensure the operationalization of the continuous registration as it exists in the CI 91. We've had extensive discussions at the IPAC level. The only challenge is that the NDC has elected itself not to participate at IPAC discussion and therefore are behind in terms of discussion on where we want to reach. Anytime we've had registration exercise in this country, we've witnessed it. People who are below age, people who are not Ghanaians trying to get their names onto the register. And Bernard, if you wouldn't mind, we've had history of Ghana Health Insurance ID card as a means of identifying yourself to be enrolled, and it was challenged. My little worried about the NDC is that anytime there's any arrangement that was seek to sanitize the registration exercise of the EC, they tend to disagree. We saw when the new EC decided to put in place the new voter registration management system. They disagreed to the extent that they went to court and they failed. Anytime the Electoral Commission, well, I'm not saying you shouldn't challenge or bring alternative, because we have on a number of occasions disagreed with the EC, and anytime we've gone to court, it's sin. So I don't see their fear, but the question is, what is it that the NDC stand to lose if the EC at this point decide that we want to have a CI that will take away this whole issue about Guarantor system that gives us so much trouble? After every registration exercise at national level, political parties and the EC sit to do review. And this review has to do with people who appear to be minor. Brothers in eat their humble pie, come back to IPAC and let us have discussion so that we will not be taking this so long into resources to discuss new
Fair
CI.
enough. There was another concern one of the MPs raised, that this country that claims to be broke with many things in arrears, there's not even money to pay for vaccines, somehow finds money miraculously to say to the NIA that, don't worry, we'll give you money to pay your creditors so that any bottleneck that this process would occasion will be dealt with. Some people cynically feel that there's something more sinister behind this, that we are in a haircut era. There isn't any money. So if NIA owes people, it is as well. So how come all of a sudden Kenneth Ferrata is saying, oh, we have the money, we'll make it available for Professor Atefa and Co to clear their debts? Some people smell a rat.
But you can't have any development and you say you will not invest. And I'm happy you put it as cynical. But what is the point? We're saying that as a nation, we need to have database of our nationals and even non-citizens to have database of them. So I don't think that should be the case. The point is that the EC must conduct elections. The EC in the Act, which exists already, CI91, says that you must do continuous registration. And I'm saying that we used to have a situation where you could use any form of ID to go and get your name onto the electoral roll, including your national health insurance ID card. Why is it that when the court was taking that decision, we didn't say we didn't have money and therefore we shouldn't do it? And I'm saying that it is for all stakeholders to come on board. And so, yes, we want to develop. Is it good to have a database that we can count on, yes or no? And I'm saying that the NDC the process of getting our brothers and sisters national data IDs and all that. Is that what we are saying? And therefore, when we read 2024, because we don't have money, the NDC will agree that the New Patriotic Party should continue in government without elections. Are they ready to say that? And so some of the issues, I don't think that we have to bother ourselves much about that. It is important that we have electoral system that is to a large extent foolproof. A situation where people are so happy, people are not, the people who do not have the qualifications criteria who want to get their names onto the Ghanaian electoral roll. I mean, just last Saturday, our brothers and sisters in Nigeria had their elections, and you could see their electoral system. I'm not saying it's foolproof, but they had a database which they relied on. And so I think that the EC's new arrangement to have a CI that will allow only those who want to get their name onto the register to use the NIA card must be supported by all.
All right. Thank you for that, Mr. Evanson Marco. Thank you for your intervention. We appreciate it. This is still the point of view. I wanted to ask you to clarify something you said, Professor Atifa. So when we did a calculation of possibly the number of people who would need new cards, we arrived around 2 million plus or minus, right? Based on the figure that we gleaned from the 1 million cards. When we did that subtraction and sort of calculated that X number of people may have grown from age 17, 18 in the period, 2 million. Now we know that it's in between do this in 6 months. Are you saying you can raise a poll in 6 months, or you can do all the 3 things I've said in the 6 months?
Okay, so as you rightly pointed out, 3 different things. There are those whose cards are already printed, but the cards have not been collected or issued. It is a two-way street. It is never the case that you show up, your card is available, and we don't give it to you. But it is the case that some people don't show up even though their cards are available. Now, it is also the case that it is our duty to, as it were, educate people, persuade people to come for their cards. Although the presumption is that once they have come to register, they recognize the importance of registering and getting the cards. But there is 642,000 cards to be collected or to be issued, as the case may be. That is a difficult task to accomplish because this is data from all the way from 2018 when we did the piloting and 2019 when we did the mass registration exercise. So there are some cards which were printed a day or two after somebody went to register, say in June of 2019, but didn't get it. Okay, didn't get a card for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So some of that, even with the peak with the SIM card registration, some people did not go collecting these cards. Some of these people, obviously, a small and infinitesimal percentage of this might have died. Some might have moved on, traveled, all of that. There are people we have called. We sent text message blasts to them who know that their cards are ready, but who have not gone to collect the cards for whatever reason. There are people, I have been in the Koforidua office, for example, in an office in Koforidua, and I tested my office. I asked my officer to call somebody, random, come and collect a card. And the person said, I'm not coming. Another person said, you have to send me money, and all of that. It's funny, but there are some that's a different matter from the number of cards not yet printed. It is just 500. Because we didn't have blank cards to print the cards for them. For this category of people, I am saying that as soon as cards are released, we can print this 500,000 roughly. We can print that in 11 days.
I see.
The capacity, the printers are there, the staff are available. We call them, I mean, they are not available on our payroll, but they are sitting home, former staff. Whenever we need to do expedited work, we call them, they come and they deliver. So we can do this. So the cards have not been printed. Those cards can be printed within 11 days. We'll print them centrally here in Accra to make sure that there is no question of...
And where will they pick them up from?
Then we will send them to the regions and districts where they registered for them to... Because this 541 is from all over the country.
So are there people in your district who have cards, Roxanne, who have cards that have not been given to them, even though they've done the registration? Are there? This is not a sometimes question. I just want to just get that point. There are people in your district who may have done the printing.
I have peculiar problems in my district.
Oh, more serious than even...
More serious. And he knows.
What's your district for the purpose of...
South Dai.
Okay, so let's look at South Dai. What's the problem?
It's a district capital.
Prof, you know.
Oh, no, you're not talking to me, talking to the world.
You know that.
Oh.
I have, no.
You mean
you're talking to the
already?
world.
No,
Yes.
because he knows.
Okay.
That I have been asking him that there are peculiar difficulties with registration in my district. One, for instance, they are not operating from the district capital. That's one. They are in Peki, which is fantastic. But you are not in my capital. And I have far-flung communities. So I've been praying for them to do zonal registration.
Okay.
You tell me that the law doesn't permit you to do that. So it's difficult for you. So you've tried to even go out of your way to see whether, but the board is not permitting you.
So they do central in Peki.
So they are in Peki. But the problem is, as a stakeholder and as an interested party, I am compelled by circumstances to ferry people from far-flung communities to Peki.
From Germany?
Yes. Ajebi, Agodake, Chanakme.
To come to Peki, to come
to Peki.
At your own cost.
Thank you. When we get to Peki,
yes,
he has come to tell me in Parliament, I'm not saying it.
Yeah.
We have connectivity problems, network difficulties.
Yes.
So they are either unable to capture data,
or they can't do as many as they want.
or in the middle of capturing data, it tapers off.
Yeah.
At my own expense, you ferry the people back, you feed them and all. So it is preferable for the entity to go around on market days, which I propose.
That's your proposal.
It's not happening.
When did you make this proposal?
Long ago.
So you hear it. We relate well. But suddenly I see that he appears to suggest that he's capable of producing cards.
But you should be happy.
Hold on.
I thought that will make you happy.
Hold on.
This is a very serious matter.
No, before you continue.
You want to address that issue?
Yeah, but even that, no, just the last statement. But suddenly, he appears to indicate that he's able to produce cards. That's an unfair comment. You see, wait. It's unfair because, for the listener, it is unfair because we're talking two different things.
Okay.
I'm talking about the ability of the institution to print cards, that is records that it already possesses.
I use you, not as you in person,
I know you mean the
entity.
Yeah, I know you mean the institution. But that is a technical operational matter. The data has already been captured. It is about assembling equipment and personnel, letting people print cards. What he is talking about is not a peculiar problem, although he sees it as peculiar. But he is the first person to have raised it with me and to have persisted and even provided
offered a solution.
Solutions that he has articulated.
Which still is not working. You are not doing.
Look, this week, the solution he's presented is working in Pom-Katamanso.
Oh, you are using the solution in a different constituency.
I said to Parliament yesterday,
yes,
Roxanne is my classmate. We're good friends.
Okay.
From law school. Now, quite apart from friendship, I have an obligation to serve his people to the best of my abilities.
Absolutely.
And every single day, I am guided, I am minded, I am driven by my obligation to serve.
So
with my
is that proposal workable across the country?
With my best judgment, my best intellect,
know that.
and my best effort. And in his case,
yes.
No, not across the country. That's the point.
In the districts that have that kind of problem.
In particular districts that have the problem where the resources, where the circumstances permit. You see, what is presented, it's not that simple. First of all, he has just said it. He buses people, he brings people in. If the network disappears while they are there, the data capturing is interrupted. That is one of the reasons some people's cards are not completed. Then he has to feed them and then send them back. If there is accommodation, all of that. Now, in our case, in the Peki office, we have 4 people. There is only 1 technician. In all the district offices, we have 4 persons, 4 officers.
Now there are 3.
Well, there you go.
Your eyes on this thing.
Oh, yeah. He's serious. He's serious about it. Regional officers.
Okay.
Regional officers 5. Now, so if the technical person who captures your biometrics